Hello friends, this is FE Peer Review. The date is still November the 24th, 2021, and I'm decided to put out a second little video today. This is just a thought that I had that kind of just passed over my desk here by chance, and I figured I might as well share it with you all. It's a little different than my usual video, but it's a little something about myself and how I got to who I am from where I came from, whatever. Anyhow, I saw this video pop up on my feed called Holy Spirit Moments with Father Kerry Walters, Atheist Doublethink. And I thought, oh, that sounds like something I can get riled up about. So I went to go and watch the video, and I have to admit, I have not yet watched it. But as I often do, I glanced through the comments first, just because I thought I might just find that its comments might lead me to decide it's a totally useless video and not to waste my time, or who knows, or they might say things that make me want to watch it. So I was glancing at the comments, and there was somebody here named Max Doubt. He says, nope, atheists typically agree with our top cosmologists vis-a-vis what caused, not created, the universe. We don't know. We don't say it just happened, and we don't say it created itself, but based on the many, many physical phenomena once attributed to gods, but subsequently found to have better natural explanations, and the fact that never has a workable natural explanation surrendered to a supernatural one, we are justified in believing that whatever caused the Big Bang and biogenesis, gods had nothing to do with it. I thought that was a good summary of an atheist position, one that is very much the norm, and which I happen to agree with. And then I went off and looked at the next comment. Chenda Forrest. I used to be an atheist. That always sends a red flag up in my mind. I used to be an atheist. But after I discovered Advaita and other non-dualistic schools, I found atheism an utterly untenable position. Even Sam Harris has acknowledged Advaita may be onto something. Well, I thought that needed a response, and it kind of felt like I was the right person to respond to it. I'm going to read my response. I'm not going to leave it up on the screen. I'm just going to cycle through a few pages from Wikipedia as I'm reading my response. And you may, at some point in the future, find it useful to go back and look at those Wikipedia pages because they are related to the things that I'm going to read here. I used to be an Advaitist, but having decided the most rational and consistent stance is to base my understanding of the physical universe on physical evidence, and having no evidence of any kind for anything supernatural, I now consider myself an atheist. For the benefit of others reading this comment, Advaita is a bigger idea than can be glibly defined in one short sentence. But since YouTube comment boards are no place for a dissertation, I'll just say this. Advaita is an idea that goes beyond monotheism to something I characterize as monism. Not only is there just one God, there is nothing but God. All that exists, existed, and potentially exists is God. Now, I'm going to add something here that I didn't note until after I'd written this comment. I'd always kind of thought I made up that word monism as a way of describing this idea. It just was something that came to me. And in looking at the Advaita Vedanta entry on Wikipedia, I see that others have actually come up with the same word. I wasn't aware that this word even existed. But many scholars describe it as a form of monism. So there you go. I think I must have been on the right track when I was 17 and deeply immersed in all this stuff. I will now continue with my original comment. This sounds fine, but as an insight into the physical universe and human nature, I find it fundamentally useless. It's also completely unverifiable in any scientific sense. It feels good to think we are all united in one all-encompassing spirit, and if we listen to great Advaita Vedanta teachers like Nisargadatta Maharaj, whom you see here, Swami Nityananda, whom you see here, not the contemporary one, but rather the one who entered Mahasamadhi in 1961. There's a living teacher out there named Swami Nityananda, who is not this person. I just wanted to eliminate confusion. Especially if we listen to what they have to say about subjects like universal love, we will probably be better people for it. But that still leaves us with no actual evidence of any kind of omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient being within whom the universe exists. These three qualities are, the person I was responding to will recognize that these three qualities are the classic description of, in Advaita Vedanta, of the creative force, the source of everything, sometimes characterized or called Brahman. And one of the things that's interesting about Advaita Vedanta is that it is not a personified being. This God that is described is formless, nameless, not personifiable in any possible way. In a sense, it's a kind of the intersection of Hinduism and Buddhism, and the idea of, at the essence of Hinduism, from which Buddhism grew. Anyway, I want to continue with my comment. It is my impression that many, maybe most people, turn to religion and a belief in God out of fear or anxiety about death and the prospect of non-existence. I believe this fear and anxiety clouds people's judgments, and it is the wrong reason to seek something supernatural. As an atheist, I expect simply to cease existing upon my death. I am completely reconciled with that and live each day with great appreciation for life. When I was an Advaitist, listening at the feet of Ramesh Balshekar, I came to the conclusion that everything about myself that I experience as myself and identify as myself is fundamentally physical, inextricably tied up with my body and its physical existence. And all of that, including all my memories of this life, would disappear upon my death. That there was some kind of seed of essential existence, the Atman is what it's called in Advaita Vedanta, which would carry on, seemed plausible and still does, though unverifiable scientifically. But I could not know anything of that experience, anything of that, because the I looking for the experience was the temporal I, inextricable from this body. I asked Ramesh, I said, do I understand correctly? I can never know my true nature as Atman because the I who seeks to know will cease to exist the moment that true nature is known to itself. He said, yes. All you can do is put your head in the tiger's open jaws. It decides when to bite. So in the end, everything that I experience about myself and identify as myself will cease to exist one way or another. We must reconcile ourselves with death. There is no escaping it. I hope this little thought today is of interest to some of you. You might find the page on Advaita Vedanta an interesting read. It's philosophy unlike anything most of us have been exposed to in the West. It is a very, very different way of conceiving of something beyond nature as the source of nature. And these three people are very important figures, modern day 20th century figures in that philosophy. Enough. Hope you're all having a great day. Now I'll go back and listen to what kind of silly nonsense I suspect this person's going to say about atheists. Bye-bye.